Well, hi, welcome back to my YouTube channel, Kite Swift Moves Trading Academy. I hope you're having a really great day today. So today's video is things that you have to consider when you start your trading day off. And so the first thing I like to do is I like to go over here to this Forex Factory website. And then what I do is I look at the calendar, and what I'm looking for are any of the what they call the red letter news items. The key items that you're looking for is FOMC, Federal Open Market Committee. Basically, the Fed has 8 times a year that they hold this type of meeting, and they discuss policy, and that could affect your market. So you might want to be aware of that. The other thing you're looking for are earnings. You want to know if the security you're about to trade in, if earnings is about to be reported. And why does that matter? Because even if you've looked it up, even if you've read all the news article, whatever, and what can happen, and this is real serious stuff here, is like they can report earnings and say it's Apple, just for an example, right? And say they report just tremendous earnings, their stock might turn around and tank. There's no correlation between how good the earnings report is versus how the market behaves. And you have to know that. So if you absolutely cannot predict it, and when I say tank, or it could be the other way, it could be crappy earnings report, and you think, well, cool, and you think about you've put a put on, all of a sudden that thing will shoot up, and I mean, and it moves. I mean, like seriously moves. So but you cannot predict it, and so you wanna be aware of that. Be careful of it. Okay. The next thing I like to do is I'll go over to my tradingview.com. That's where I do my charting. And what you want to do is, now I have like basically three securities I like to trade. I like to trade Apple, I like to trade AMD, and I like to trade QQQ. So I have that in a watch list. Now I can sit here and click on this, and the watch list comes out, but I don't have to do that. All you have to do is if I hit the arrow key, if I arrow up, see, that's the Apple. That's from the earlier video today. If I arrow down, it takes me to AMD. I arrow down again, there's my Qs. So I don't have to have all this real estate on my screen used up just to show my watch lists. So let's go back here so say I'm going through. Now what I do is I have my notebook out. I've written down the three securities, and then what I do is and okay, like if you want to make the chart taller or shorter as far as the candles, you move your thumb wheel while you're over top the price numbers. Okay, but what I want to see is the overall market, or the overall chart. So I'll do some. So if you put your cursor out into the chart and you thumb wheel down, okay, and now I'm gonna go over here to price action because I want to see this whole chart. I want to see what's going on, so I can determine is this going up or is this going down overall. And so there we go. That's as far as that wants to compress. And I could do this number, but this right here shows me enough. Now, well, let me do this. Now, if you're looking at this is AMD. And so what is AMD doing? Sure looks to me like it's doing something. Let's see. It's going like this. What? Wait a minute. Wrong tool. Where is is that the one? No, that's the same one. Hold on. Sorry. Uh, Hooray. Is that it? No. Oh well. Should mess with these tools more often. I don't do this very often, but here you can see it's going down, it's going up, it's going down. Shut up. Going way down. Up, down. I would say from here to here, it's pretty obvious to me that this market for AMD is in a downtrend, what we call bearish. If you can't remember, well, does bearish mean up or down, or does bullish mean up or down? Think of a bear standing up on its hind legs, its claws are above its head, and it's coming down at you. That's a bearish market. It's coming down. If you're a bull, think of the bull has his head down, he's got his horns down, he's coming at that matador. When he hits that matador, he's going to flip him up. So that's bullish. So if it's going up, it's bullish. If it's going down, it's bearish. Okay. So if I'm looking at this, and if I'm going to trade AMD today, uh, I am going to bet more money, if you want to call it that. I'm hedging my bet on predicting this market. You're going to be more successful if you're taking puts than if you're taking calls. Now, does it mean that you can't do calls when it's doing, like this here? Yeah, you can do it, but you're going to have a lot more opportunities and a lot larger runs if you're following the trend. If you're bucking against the trend, that trend is going to fight you and fight you, and you'll lose money. I don't know how else to put it other than that simple. But this is what you want to do before the market opens. You want to check the overall price action. Is it going up? Is it going down? Is it going sideways? Okay. But primarily, you want to know if it's going up or down, bullish or bearish. Then the next thing I do is I check the cost of the contracts, because these contracts can vary from day to day, and they can the cost of those contracts can vary greatly. So, like yesterday, I traded Apple. Why did I trade Apple? Because Apple's contracts. Well, here, let me look at my notebook real quick so I can tell you. Apple was 178. AMD was 1,065, and the Qs were 115. And actually, you know what? I think I got to take that back. I believe I was in the Qs yesterday. Anyways, but that's what I do. I look at the price of the contracts, and it makes a big difference. Yeah, matter of fact, I'm positive I was in the Qs just because the cost of those contracts are just so much better. Now, what was really odd was volume was down. That's something else you got to keep an eye on while you're trading. If the volume's low, that price action is going to move really slow. And where you think, wow, it ought to be shooting up or it ought to be shooting down, it won't. It's because there's just not enough power behind the moves. But anyway, so yeah, check the cost of your contract. So how do you do that? Like for me, I'm on Robinhood now. So I go on Robinhood, I go to the security, I click on it, I click trade options, and then the blockchain comes up, and that's where it lists the price. Now, what do I mean by the price of the contract? So how do you determine it? Like if I'm looking at, say, like yesterday, I was looking at Qs, right? And I believe I was looking at the puts on the Qs, and it was 115. So what it showed on the blockchain, it showed $1.15, but that's the price of the contract per share. There's 100 shares per contract. So you simply just move the decimal point over 2 times, and that's how much you're paying for the overall contract. So you want to check that price because it can have a big influence, especially if you don't have a lot to trade. It could impact you. If you can trade one contract versus 10, well, that's where you're making the money, is when you can scale up the contracts. All right, so let's see. So then the next thing you're going to do is you're going to do your chart analysis. This is all before the market opens. Like right now, it's 8:42, so I gotta get busy here. So so once you've done all that, based on number 2 from here, that was to check the overall price action, whether if it's bullish or bearish. Then you're going to go do your chart analysis, and then you're going to basically determine most likely what's going to be your move when the market opens. Okay, like right here, I mean, let's just do this. Now we looked at that and we said that this overall market was bearish, right? Meaning it's going down, right? And let's expand this up. This just shows you how you do this, because you want to get to where you're looking at it at a normal candle pattern. Okay, so let's say the market was opening right now. I'd be watching that real close, because that was just kind of like indecision, because it was going down. Now it's going up. I would probably watch that for a second or two just to see, like, okay, well, here's the next candle. You see what I mean? It's following the trend. So when I saw that, if I was going to trade AMD today, and I had my heart on that one, heart set on it, then yeah, I'd be looking to place a put. Now, this is how this action goes. you know Now, if you did put that, say you first saw this candle here and you thought, oh, I better make a call. You better think about what your price action is. What is it, bearish or is it bullish? Right now it's bearish, and see how bearish would have been a good indicator to you as to what kind of trade to place. That's how this works. So anyhow, that's the kind of thing. Now there's obviously other things you do as far as doing your analysis. Um, like right here, I see bearish. Excuse me. I see bullish price action. I see a first low. Now there's your market manipulation. So there's a chance this thing may end up breaking out. Now what sucks is we're quite a ways away from the 9:30 bell, and there's no options, meaning the type of security. You can't purchase or sell an option in pre-market or in the extended hours. Okay, so you got to wait for the market to actually open to do option trading. Um, so this price action might very well start playing out well before we get to an open market, which kind of sucks, because that would be a really sweet setup for that. But this is what I'm talking about, that you're going to do your chart analysis to figure out, well, if I'm going to trade this security, I like the price of the contracts. I've looked at everything. I've checked the news and all that. And man, I'm going to rock and roll with AMD today. Well, you better have your idea in your head before that bell rings, because if you start trying to do your chart analysis, then you could very well miss a real big move. A lot of times at the opener, if that price action is going to really move at the opening of the bell there, that's the market, that's when you're going to see that. So anyways, that's that's some things to look out for. The other thing that I would have, and this is like, for example, I'm trading on Robinhood, is I have a little checklist written out for myself, because I just got tired of skipping too many steps that I should have been not skipping, and placing trades improperly compared to what I wanted to do. So I have a little checklist set up. What does it say? Okay, it says order type. Is it a limit or a market? Order direction. Is it a call or a put? And none of these are really, there's not a default on Robinhood, other than if you've already placed something that day, it'll go back to that same position, and you need to be aware of that. It doesn't just automatically default to a call or a put. Strike, you gotta look at your strike, and you want to position your strike price when you're looking at the blockchain based on the direction that you've predicted from your charting analysis. And the next thing is how many contracts. I've had a few times where it's something as simple as, oh, I meant to do 10 contracts and I bought one. Well, your gain's going to be tremendously different if you buy one contract and you were right, versus had you bought the 10 that you wanted. So anyhow, those are some things to consider as you're getting ready to trade for the day, and I hope that helps you. Have a great day. Bye.